Hello friend, how are you? And I am uploading after a very long time. In my previous video I said that I am going to start uploading regularly but I am late. But from now on I am going to be regular and I am like in a af- like I initially I made thought of making a video on preservatives, and I was watching a lot of health related videos, and my initial plan was make some a video on preservative which are not good for your health. So I had like thought of 4 5 preservatives which are not good, and I was going to talk about it. But then I like looked into it more and I started studying what preservative is not good and all. So I went into a black hole kind of, because every preservative, every additive which was added in the food had like this is going to cause this is going to cause that, same issue I had faced when I was like looking for healthy foods. So by nowadays everything is dangerous. Bread has gluten will cause digestion problems, meat will cause cancer and heart issues, eggs will increase cholesterol, vegetables has anti-nutrients, milk will have lactose problem, almond milk will cause almond milk has oxalates, soy milk will increase estrogen. Every food I see they like, oh my god, this is going to cause this is going to cause that, breathing will cause this, drinking water will cause this. And so I kind of got paranoid, because I was like having hard time, like, oh my god, this has preservative, this has preservative, this has this has that. So even I was like thinking, oh my god, whether I should eat this food or not, because no matter what food item you take it has something or the other. Like even if you take raw vegetables, raw meat, it has some kind of and either plants have some pesticides added to it which harm the plants, and animals have that antibiotics and all this injected on inside them, which affects the nutrient quality. So even if we take the raw materials, still we will find something which is bad. So I didn't want like I got paranoid, and I didn't want other people to get paranoid as well, because then we'll have hard time eating anything. you know, so in this video I will like not just talk about preservatives, but in general I will talk about additives and all the different kind of, not only preservative, there are several other things which are added in the processed food, processed foods which are made in factories. So I'll talk about them in general, and I will like share some common ones which are like regarded as bad food, which in general many people agree that it's not good for your health. So I will like discuss why it's not good for your health, so so even if you like eat those foods, don't need to worry, if just eating it one time won't harm you, but try your best to reduce it at least. Try your best to be as natural as you can, and focus on relaxing yourself. More stress you take, the more your health will get affected. Like even in my case, when I started looking at into this like I was searching about it since like before, only like before I had made that post, and since 13th I started. Where is it? I don't know whether. So in 13th I started, and today I'm recording in 26. So 13 days later, it took me 13 days of research kind of, you know, and even before that, 1 week extra to look into it, what is going on, because this is a very like useful topic, but it can stress people out a lot, because like there is lot of fear mongering going on, where people no matter what food item you select, there will be at least 100 videos telling you why it's bad for your health. So I will share info with you, but choose the food which your body is comfortable with, and if you are unable to like eat healthy food and sometimes you have to eat this kind of processed food, it's okay. Just keep it as rare as you can. I know it can be difficult if you are used to eating processed foods, all this junk food all the time. Then quitting it is not easy. It's like an addiction to cigarettes, alcohol. So and you can easily access it. So I can understand quitting it is not easy, but once you like start to understand why it's bad for you, how it's affecting you, then your mind automatically slowly starts like, okay, it's bad for me, I won't eat it. So many times after reading this, after like studying all of this, I like when I search for food now, I like, oh my god, it has this, no, let it be, it has this, let it be. My mind automatically is like, no, it's okay, I don't want it. So before beginning this video, I have like updated my merch. So nowadays in Teespring they don't I have access to like art prints and all, so I removed it. Some reason they are not selling it anymore, maybe people don't buy it, I don't know, but they have t-shirts. I have got some affordable ones, so and hoodies and mugs, so please check them out. Like I have heard good things about Teespring, it is like even connected with YouTube. That is why you can see my store in below it. So please check it out. Last time also a couple of people bought from me, so thank you so much. And even I am going to like buy a couple of stuff from my merch, because I want to see how it is. Since it was very expensive, I like let it be, because the shirt itself is expensive, plus the shipping charge, plus the extra taxes, so I was like, let it be. But now I'm going to buy it, and I should, all the YouTubers wear their merch and promote it, and don't know how my merch looks like, so it's not good. But if you are used to buying from Teespring, so you must know the quality of that material. So if you have bought merch from Teespring, from other YouTubers, then you must know the quality. And if there is some issue with the thing, you can replace or get a refund. It's like Amazon only. You buy online, and if you don't like it, you can return it, and they will give you another, or they will give you a refund. You can contact them, they are like available. Teespring has like multiple countries, Teesprings, USA, Europe, even in Asia they have started now. So the t-shirts are, I think, made in India, or at least some of it is made in India, that's why it's more affordable. So please check it out. If you like some design, or if you have any feedback about the designs, please let me know. If you have any ideas what other merch I can add, please let me know. Okay. So let's begin. So the processed foods, any food can be processed, even a homemade bread is processed. But here I am going to talk about processed foods made in factories. So whenever you check the ingredient list of any processed food, you will see a long list of things, where there are like some E and some numbers written on it, or INS or some numbers, or some chemical compounds, ascorbic acid, this acid, that thing, and you are confused, what is this, why are they adding these things? So let me explain. So what are the things in it? First is the added sugar. So added sugar, this is like one of the most confusing things, I'm going to discuss about it more later. but an added sugar is like the sugar which is added in it to enhance the flavor. And a lot of times the food tastes good because it has sugar in it. The sweet kind of increases the dopamine in our body and makes us excited and happy, so we eat it more to get that dopamine. So many foods have this sugars added in it. So next is fats or oils. So either fats are added to increase the shelf life or they are like deep fried or anyway, so that's why it contains lot of oil in it. So lot of potato chips and all this, most of the food items I see are deep fried. So deep fried enhances the taste, and it increases the longevity also. Then salt is like a most common preservative. Salt was being used even in ancient times. Even when these factories were not there, salt was used as a preservative. But nowadays there are various types of salt. We generally use table salt, but there are variety of salts as well. Then coloring, I'm going to discuss about this also later. So you must have seen in food items there are like various colors in it. So they add colors to make them look more pretty. Then there are also like other additives like emulsifiers, thickeners, stabilizers. So these all of these things like lot of times like mayonnaise. When we make mayonnaise at home we use oil and egg. So when we like beat it becomes thick, but if we leave it as it is it will again separate. The egg and oil start separating after some time. But when we are like buying it from the store, even after several months it's not separating. They add this emulsifiers, stabilizers to make sure this remains thick and compact together. It doesn't separate from one. The oil and egg doesn't separate, or any other food item doesn't separate. The oil doesn't separate from the food item. It remains the same when they packaged it versus several months later. So even if you open it several months later, it should look the same. Then flavoring. So lot of times even though they has like natural flavor, they will still add some synthetic flavors or sometimes natural flavors also to increase the like taste of it. Something will naturally have some flavor, like chocolate is there, but still they will add some chocolate flavors, additional synthetic ones to make it even more chocolatey or any other way. Mainly I've seen in like fruits they add like synthetic flavors to enhance the flavor of the juice or anything. Then nutrients. So lot of nowadays and lot of items, especially the healthy items the milks and all have like enough nutrients added to it the fortified with vitamin D, calcium, B12 and all of these things fortified they say so this fortified is like they add some nutrients in it, so people can get these nutrients. So sometimes it's just pointless, sometimes it's very little, it's kind of useless, but sometimes it can be very beneficial. Like the vegan foods doesn't have enough B12, so if they eat some foods which contain B12 fortified with B12, then that's where they can get this nutrient. Or else lot of times the food which people eat it doesn't contain all the nutrients, so this way it can help. Then there are like fillers. So there is like lot of times they add sand, not exact sand but silica, all these things to increase the quantity. So it will be like mixed together, which has neutral taste, but it is very low in budget. So you can get more money at lower price. A lot of like non-veg items are expensive, so they add fillers to increase the quantity, so they can like sell less meat for a cheaper price, for a higher prices. So people will think they will take 100 gram of chicken, then they will add fillers, so it will become 150-gram chicken. I don't know the exact amount, but example wise, so they can sell 150-gram of chicken. So at 100 gram, they have like using 100 grams, but they are selling it at 150 grams by adding cheap fillers in it. Like people don't like this in a McDonald's and all of this for the same reason, because it has lot of fillers and all these things, which kind of are taste neutral, but it's not the actual meat. Then there is like anti-caking agents. So anti-caking is like means and prevents from clumping. So a lot of times some items clump together, like powdered sugar, salt and all this clump together. That's why they add some anti-caking agent to make sure this doesn't clump together. So this is like added in like salt, coffee, spices, flour, various items where little bit amount is added, so it remains powdery only, it doesn't clump together. And like the most important one which I had like initially was thinking of making a video on is the preservative. So the preservatives are there to preserve the food, to extend the shelf life. So these are the like different types of additives. Sorry. Like I'm sitting down after a very long time like this, So I will first start with the sugars. I'll get into preservatives last. First I will like start with sugars. So sugar, I think everyone knows, it's the thing which makes the food sweet. So generally we know about the table sugar sucrose, which we commonly use whenever we are adding whenever we are adding sugar in the food, we are adding sucrose. But in reality there are like various types of sugar. So sucrose generally contain glucose, but there is like fructose which is present in fruits, and then there's maltitose also. So there are like internally there are like glucose, fructose, maltitose and all these things, which the like simplest form of sugar. So our body uses glucose for energy, and it uses glucose and turn it into ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So we generally like carbs. Carbs contains glucose, which gives us energy, which uplifts us, especially sugar. Sugar gives us dopamine rush. That's why like we crave sweet foods. A lot of times we like this preservative because of the sweetness in it. In a lot of the Oriental cuisine, Chinese, even like Korean, and a lot of them have little bit of sweetness added to it. They add little bit of the sugar or brown sugar or maple syrup, something, so that sweetness enhances the flavor. So without that sweetness, sometimes the food doesn't taste good. So even I sometimes make Chinese, without the sugar, it doesn't have that same taste. but little bit of sugar and the taste enhances. So, and I personally don't think that sugar is bad, but problem is we eat too much of it. So we like sugar because it is needed for our body, but nowadays the food material which are made contains so much of sugar that it kind of is too much for our body to handle. When we eat fruits, it contains sugar, but it's not high in amount, and it also contains fiber and other things, or we feel full. But another regular the food items which we get on the store contains lots and lots of sugar which is like feels good initially, but it will like lower our mood also. So in this video like I wanted to like focus on this zero sugar things because people already know that sugar is not good for you. It's a very common thing in everyone, sugar is bad. That lot of nowadays there is like sugar free, no sugar added, no added sugars, all these things are written on the package. But when we eat the food it is sweet in taste. So why is it like it is, why do they say it's sugar free but it's still sweet? Because the like accepted definition of sugar is the sucrose, which is the table sugar which we generally eat that is sugar. But if instead of the sugar if we add like honey, jaggery, maple syrup, or even brown sugar also then they will like no, sugar free, it's sugar free, no added sugar. So the factory's definition of no sugar is not that regular granulated sugar or the powdered sugar, sucrose one is not acceptable, but everything else is fine, it's sugar free only. So even honey can cause insulin spike, but it is like a healthy sugar. It is healthier than the sucrose, but it's still mostly sugar only. It's still, if you have diabetes or any sugar related issue, if you eat sugar replacement also, that is also going to spike your insulin. So I will show you a table of different sugars, and they're like GI. First one is like the table sugar, regular, the glucose, and in comparison to that you will see how much like insulin spike is caused by the other sugars also. So there are some which have lower than the regular sugar, but there are some which have higher also. But these are regarded as the healthy ones because it contains some minuscule amount of nutrients in it. But the amount of nutrients in it is so low that you have to eat large amount of it. If you want to get nutrients of honey, you have to eat large amount of honey. But if you eat large amount of honey, then it will cause sugar issue. So, like if you want 1-to-1 replacement, in comparison it is little healthy. But if you have sugar issues, reduce the amount of all kind of sugar if you cannot close it, at least reduce it drastically. And also in this chart you will see there are some which have like zero sugar like a lot of nowadays keto diet people they don't want carbs, so they want sugar free stuff, so they go for the sugar free items so this sugar free items either are generally two types these natural ones or the sugar alcohols. So here is a like table of sugar alcohols and what kind of insulin spike they will cause. So there in the table you can see some of them have very low spike and there are some who have very high. And a main problem, these are regarded as the healthier ones and a healthy option. Whenever like people offer healthy sugar, healthy foods, they go for the sugar free things. But when I like looked into it now, I still feel hesitant about buying sugar free. I generally prefer the regular sugar instead of the sugar free, because I think it's just my personal belief. So what I've read about it, so sugar alcohols like the erythritol, xylitol, sorbitol, all of this tall one, they are part sugar and part alcohol. So that is, it contains that hydroxyl at the bottom. So it doesn't contain the actual alcohol, but OH, anything with OH added is alcohol chemically. So since the chemical structure is such a way when they go inside the body our body is not used to this type of complex stuff, this complex structure, our body is not used to it. So it takes time to figure out what is this, so it sometimes can partly digest it, some parts they can understand, they digest, but there are some parts which they don't know what this is, so they just excrete it out, so they take in only less amount of sugar from this, so that's why the spike is low, but most of it just goes to waste, and some of it ferments in the body and causes gas and bloating and all. So sometimes when you eat this sugar alcohols, you will some people get gas, stomach pain and all, because it kind of ferments in the body also. Sometimes our body doesn't feel comfortable with it, and it tries to ferment it, and that causes gas and all. So generally people say it is very healthy, it is good, so it doesn't increase the insulin, it doesn't cause a spike in blood sugar and all. But I get worried because if it is not fully getting digested, if our body is not used to this kind of chemical structure, so is it good for us? If our body, if it's an unknown kind of food item which our body doesn't know what it is, body is confused, that is why it just removes it out. So should we put it in our body regularly? I personally feel like whatever our body is comfortable with, whatever our body knows how to digest, that thing we should put in our body. Whatever our body doesn't know how to digest, doesn't know what to do with it, I don't think we should put it in our body. A lot of people will be like, no, this is this, then they will give a long medical explanation, and maybe they are right. But for me, when I read why it has low sugar and all, I realized that this is not fully digested. It goes directly in our intestine, and sometimes our intestine also doesn't know, so it just gets removed out. Sometimes it damages the gut bacteria. Some of them, our gut bacteria is unable to digest. So if it's causing so much problem and it's like an empty calorie so I don't know whether it's a good idea or not. Maybe your tongue may not feel much, but if our body doesn't know what to do with it and it's just removing it out like a toxin, then maybe you should be careful about putting it in our body also. Especially if you experience stomach pain or anything, lot of times this sugar make people more hungry than the regular sugar, and also in natural sugars, so I took two most common natural sugars. One is stevia and monk fruit. So I was trying to figure out why stevia bad, stevia 0 calorie, why is sweet and still 0 calorie. So the stevia contains in a stevial glycosides, and these stevial glycosides are large molecule which are digestive enzymes are unable to digest properly, unable to break down properly. And when it reaches the colon, the gut bacteria break it down into steviol, which is absorbed, and remaining is excreted out. So the stevia contains steviol glycoside, which are very large molecules. When it enters the stomach doesn't know how to digest it, so it sends it into the colon. The colon has like a gut bacteria which break it down into steviol and other parts. They take the steviol and the remaining is removed out of the body. And since it bypasses the glucose metabolysis in stomach, there is nothing happening, so it doesn't release any blood sugar, and whatever steviol is there is used by gut bacteria. So that's why it is zero sugar, because the stomach digests the food and releases the sugar in the blood, so that's why the blood sugar increases. But this food item the stomach doesn't know, so it does directly send, so no blood sugar from this. There is no sugar from this, so no sugar enters the blood, so the blood sugar level increases zero. So that is why it is 0 calorie. Same with monk fruit. Monk fruit contains mogrosides, which are actually antioxidants, not carbohydrates. So the sugar part of it is actually an antioxidant, not a carbohydrate. That is why it's not digested into either sugar or a fat. The carbohydrates and all this food is digested this way, but since it is an antioxidant, it is not digested the same way. And same as like stevia, the stomach doesn't know how to digest it properly, so it goes into the gut bacteria, and most of the thing is removed out of the body. So maybe this can be very safe, this can be safe, but my body is not generally stevia, and my body is not very comfortable with stevia. No matter how tasty the food, when I'm eating stevia, when I'm drinking juice with stevia, drinking coffee with it, my body refuses to drink it. It sometimes I force it, sometimes it just removes it out. Monk fruit is still better, but still I kind of feel uncomfortable knowing that most of it gets removed out because our body doesn't know how to digest it. So I'm a little bit hesitant about these foods. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe these are very healthy fine foods, but I will still tell you to be cautious. If it's causing any issues, avoid it, or at least lessen it. Slowly find some other ways. Sometimes eating or natural fruits is healthier option. Even though fructose has higher sugar, but it still contains all the other nutrients also, like fiber and all the vitamins and minerals, which are more filling to our body. This stevia and all the sugar alcohols, even though they are zero sugar, they still contains chemicals which our body doesn't know how to digest. So it's better to be careful. But if you have sugar issue, or if you are on a keto diet, then I can understand you don't want carbs, but still be careful. Listen to your body, what it feels, how it doesn't feel after eating the food. Do you go to toilet lot more? Maybe that's not a good sign. Initially I used to feel good, and yes, all the detoxification going on, but once a day or twice a day, fine. But if you have to go repeatedly, then it's not detoxification, it's our body's indigestion problem. Detox or liver, does the detox, liver, kidney, all of this do the detoxing thing. but if too much of excretion is going on, then it's indigestion problem, or food is not able to digest what you eat. Then you will not get nutrients, everything will be excreted out, and that's not a good thing. Losing weight by not getting any nutrients is not a good thing. So be careful. Then now the preservatives. Okay. So the preservatives generally are divided into two types: antioxidants and antimicrobial. So the chemistry definition of it is a very complicated, but I will give the food definition, which is if when the food comes in contact with oxygen, it changes the chemical composition of the food, which can change the color, taste, flavor, and sometimes the quality of the food also. So when the food comes in contact with the oxygen in the air, when you keep it as it is, if you keep an apple as it is, slowly it will become brown on the inside, then it will shrivel up more and more, it will become more sticky not, it won't remain firm, it will become soft, ultimately it will become very moldy. Then you won't be able to eat it. Little bit browning and all you can find, but if we leave it for a couple of weeks, then we won't be able to eat it. This is caused by oxidation and also the microbes eating the food. So both ways the food is getting affected. The oxygen in the air is damaging the food, and the microbes are like, yes, time to eat. So we have only short window for us to eat the natural foods, and once the window is over, now it's microbes time to eat. So God has created food for everyone. You lost your chance, now it's time for the microbes. But the processed foods, we cannot take that risk. The factories, they spend lot of money to make the food, and they want profit. And profit, one of the ways is like extending the shelf life. So bread and all, if at our home we can only eat for 2-3 days, and if we don't keep it in the fridge, sometimes within 1 or 2 days it can go bad. And if we leave it outside at room temperature, sometimes it becomes very smelly, and it like has a sour taste. Like I make bread at home sometimes after 2 days, and it has sour smell on it. So you have to keep it in the fridge to preserve it. And if you don't keep it in the fridge, you keep it outside, it will go bad. But if you buy factory bread, it will last longer than our homemade bread, because they contain preservatives which prevent food from getting bad early. And lot of the foods like mayonnaise and all stay for months, but at home when we make mayonnaise, it will barely last for a couple of hours, then it will separate, and within 2-3 days we have to finish it. Actually within 1 day only, but at least if you keep it in the fridge, within 2-3 days you have to finish it, or else it will go bad. But the mayonnaise which we bring from outside, with the packaged one, lasts for months. Even after you open it, it will still last for a couple of weeks at least. So it contains various preservatives which make sure these microbes do not eat the food, and the oxygen doesn't affect the food. So some preservatives work as antioxidants, which is like preventing oxygen to affect the food, and some act as antimicrobial, which is like preventing the microbes from eating our food. and some preservatives work as both. They can be both antioxidant and antimicrobial. So I will show the table of it. Inherently, like, there is nothing wrong with preserving the food. Like, I can understand you have like made this food you want people the food to last. Not everyone can like afford brand new homemade food. Not everyone can make all the sauces every day, so sometimes it's understandable. But lot of this preservatives all they add contains preservative which short term it's fine, but if you eat them on regular basis it can slowly damage your health. So I will like share some food items which are generally regarded as bad, and I will tell you why they are regarded as bad. So before that, usage of preservatives and all these and additives, in a way it's fine. Some I can understand why it's needed, but this food shouldn't be our primary food. Occasionally you should eat it. Sometimes if you don't want to make at home, buy it from the store and eat. But remember, this contains chemicals which in the long run can hurt you. Like if you want to like make homemade food and you want it to last, there are some methods over here, like adding stuff like salt, sugar, vinegar, herbs, spices. Or some methods are like drying, pickling, canning, freezing. These are the traditional preservative method. A lot of times when people will make a food item and store it in the freezer, so it will become rock solid and it will last longer. Or they are canned, or they are dried out, so dried food lasts longer. Or pickles and all contains vinegar, spices and all these things, so they last for months, and they have fermented, so they are good for your gut bacteria. So if you are like making some stuff at home, now you can find ways to naturally preserve it, so this thing can last, your food item can last longer, so you can eat it for longer time. Make large batches of it and slowly eat it whenever you get time. Like I am like nowadays trying to like make snacks for myself. I make popcorn in large batches, so this contain like sunflower oil and salt and chili pepper, so it's healthy. Unlike the popcorn outside which has like lots of oil, palm oil and lots of other food coloring and all these things. So this can help. So try your best to like make it at home. And also this is like a weird fun fact. So you will see chemicals contain E. E stands for Europe. Europe, the European nations have like standardized this chemicals, so people can easily know which chemical is which by the number. Sometimes they also write INS, which means International Numbering System for Food Additives. So INS 1, 1, 2 or something like that. So International Numbering System for Food Additives. This is something I just wrote, so I thought to share it with you all. So these numbers helps to shorten the ingredient list and also fool people. Sometimes people will be like uncomfortable. Oh my god, this chemical, that chemical, then they will like numbers and all. So people will like not ignore it, and at least that's what they hope. And most of the time people ignore it. They're like, okay, I know it's bad for me, I'm hungry, I will eat. Even I myself do that, so I can understand. So there are like almost every chemical all is bad for you in larger extent, but these are some of the things which I often read that this is not good for you. So some of them are sodium benzoate, potassium sorbate, sodium nitrate, titanium dioxide, and a high fructose corn syrup. These are like some things oftentimes I hear, don't avoid these things. So why to avoid these things? Like, let's discuss why some food items we are told to avoid. So like processed meats, why processed meat is bad for you. So processed meats like sausage, bacon, these are like meat, and meat is healthy. Some people don't believe it is, but in general meat is healthy for you. So why sausage and all these things are bad for you? Sausage, bacon is regarded as unhealthy food. One, it contains high amount of fat in it. In order to increase the flavor and longevity, they add lot of fat. It has like high amount of sodium or salt. So when you taste it, you will see it's very salty. So it's lot more salt than we add in our homemade cooking. It increases the flavor and increases the longevity, but increases the sodium amount which our body needs. So if you have like high BP issues now, eating too much salt is not good idea. Heart issues and all, it's not a good idea to eat too much sodium in it. And it contains preservatives like nitrates and nitrites. So like sodium nitrate which I told. So these nitrates and nitrites when they enter the body, they create nitrosamines. And these nitrosamines are like there is lot of tests done on it, and the nitrosamines are regarded as carcinogenic, that is cancer causing. So nitrosamines are organic compounds which our body, when there is large quantity of nitrosamines in our body it can cause cancer. And a lot of times people get stomach cancer, colon cancer, or these stomach related cancers lot of times it's because of this nitrosamines. So it's not the meat which you are eating, but all of these things this nitrosamine, this high fat and all these things which our body, it changes the chemical composition of our body, and our body is unable to digest lot of it, or there is too much load on our body. So this can cause cancer. So best method is to make these things at home. So you can buy meat, grind it into a mince paste, add salt and all this whatever spices you want, turn it into various shapes. Use egg or flour as binder to create shapes. I make sausages at home where I like mince the chicken with salt and pepper and egg, and then roll it in a butter paper and twist it. So put the meat in between the butter paper and roll it like a candy, and then boil it. Then when you boil it it forms and becomes like a sausage. So then you can either eat it directly, or you can grill it in the frying pan, and it will taste like sausage. Like if you want various flavors of it, you can try experiment with the ingredients, but it just requires little bit of work turning it into paste and rolling it. But you can make large batch of it, boil it and then cool it down and keep it in the freezer. In YouTube you will see lots of videos about it, like they will give you full detail explanation how to make sausage at home. So you can eat your favorite processed meat in a healthy way, which are like 100% meat and low in fat, low in salt, no preservatives, safe for you. And then next is the cold drinks, sodas, energy drinks. So lot of time people say why these are bad for you. Like people are like I am feeling tired, I will drink some coke or any kind of energy drink, and I will feel energized, it will help hydrate my body. But in reality this a lot of this energy drinks and coke and all contains high amount of caffeine, and caffeine is actually diuretic, means it causes dehydration. When you drink it you flush out water from your body. You have to go to urine, so instead of getting hydrated, your water is getting removed from your body, so you are dehydrated actually. It will like you will drink it from here and the body will flush it out, so your body will have less quantity of water in it, so you'll feel more and more thirsty even after drinking it. Yeah. And also this high in sugar makes you feel good initially, but it crashes very hard as well. you know and these like sweet things corrode or teeth, and a lot of times the teeth issues happen because of this high sugar foods. This sugar this bacteria area in a mouth feeds on this sugar. So when they feed on the sugar, they kind of increase in quantity and they will slowly start eroding our teeth. So that is why brushing our teeth is important, and rinsing our mouth with water, and eating less amount of sugar and all these things. Make sure your mouth is thoroughly clean, and eat less amount of sugar, so there is less amount of food for these bad bacteria to eat, so they won't grow, so there won't be cavity in your mouth, all these brown hole. Then also lot of caffeine contains phosphoric acid or E338. So phosphoric acid impacts the kidney. It interferes with the absorption of calcium in bones. It disrupts gut bacteria and causes acid reflux. Like so high sugar definitely affects gut bacteria in a lot of ways. But this causes acid reflux also. A lot of times people, when they get acidity, they will drink it, but it increases the acidity, the acid reflux, it causes acid reflux, and instead of reducing it, it increases it. Just like instead of rehydrating the body, it dehydrates it. Instead of getting water, your body just flushes out the water. And this, when you drink too much coke and all these energy drinks which contain phosphoric acid it damages, like interfere with the absorption of calcium, so your bones become more and more hollow. Bones need calcium, and if your body is not able to absorb calcium, so your bones will slowly become hollow, and it will lead to weak bones. So occasionally fine, but don't take it regularly. Like lot of bodybuilders I see drink energy drinks, athletes and all. So then I personally would recommend don't, because all this high caffeine, high sugar, occasionally is fine, occasionally I can understand, but don't make it a daily thing. Daily I will drink 2 glasses of 2 cans of, or 3, sometimes 7-8 cans also. Some people drink half a dozen every day because it is zero sugar, low calorie, so it's fine. I would personally suggest don't, because the high sugar has indigestible materials. The zero sugar has indigestible material. It has phosphoric acid, which is not good, high sugar, which is not good. Even though it's regarded zero sugar, but it's still high and it's still very sweet, and it disrupts the gut bacteria. And it has lot of chemicals which damages the gut bacteria. It kills lot of gut bacteria, or sometimes about bacteria doesn't know how to digest it. and most important, it doesn't have any nutritional value also. Like, even though they write it had contains this and that, it barely gives any nutrition to us, drinking coconut water, milk, or uh, turning the fruit into a juice is much more healthy. Then also there are like there is sodium benzoate, so sodium benzoate I had like mentioned about it in my last video, where I said that in a sodium benzoate, when it like combines with some chemical turns benzene. So sodium benzoate is often written as E211. So this, when it combines with ascorbic acid or vitamin C, it creates benzene. And benzene is carcinogenic. Just like nitrosamine is carcinogenic, benzene is carcinogenic. So it has increases the chances of getting cancer. So a lot of times you will see a person eats healthy home cooked food, and still they get cancer. Lot of times the home cooked food contains the food items which are not good for you. So this sodium benzoate is present in sodas, pickles, soy sauce, salad dressing. It is even present in medications, cosmetic, toothpaste, mouthwash. So even if you don't eat these food items, still the toothpaste, mouthwash, cosmetics contains sodium benzoate. Not all of them, but lot of them do. So sodium benzoate is one of the most common preservative, and like lot of the let's say the lemon flavor, citrus flavor drinks, the lemon flavor, orange flavor, which we think is healthy, it is caffeine free, so it's fine. But they oftentimes I see the ingredient contains sodium benzoate and ascorbic acid or vitamin C. So the deadly benzene combination. So that can be like very dangerous. That is why they say don't drink too much these cold drinks, soft drinks. Because not just for the sugar part, but it contains the other ingredients which slowly poison our body. Slowly the benzene gets created in the body, and which can eventually lead to cancer. So try your best to avoid sodium benzoate, and it will be difficult because when I see ingredients, this is very common, and sodium benzoate is one of the earliest acceptable ones. So try your best to have natural amounts, natural, which doesn't contain preservative, or as less as they can, because even if you make food which contains all these dangerous chemicals, these chemicals are still entering your body. Even if you are not eating outside food, you are making inside food with this sauces which contain all of these chemicals which enter your body. So if you are trying to be low budget, fine, but if you genuinely want a healthy body, best thing is to get natural ingredients and make something from scratch. Clean it as thoroughly as you can. Try to remove the pesticide and all these chemicals, and then cook it thoroughly. Sometimes salads and all are regarded as healthy, but sometimes the raw vegetables in our body is unable to digest, either because of the pesticides and other chemicals, or because it contains some anti-nutrients and all, which our body has hard time digesting. So when you cook it, your body is able to digest it better. So soy generally healthy, but if you eat it raw, you will get digestion problems. But if you cook it thoroughly, it will be fine. And if you ferment it, then it's very good for your health. Fermented soy is one of the most common foods in Oriental cuisine, especially Japanese cuisine. And they have soy sauce, tempeh, and other various things, tofu. So many ways they've like cooked soy, and they have got healthy bodies. So, I know a lot of people don't like it because of it increases estrogen, but if you like have digestion issue, don't take it. But if your body is able to digest it enough, try your best to like ferment it or process it. Don't eat it raw. Cabbages and lot of vegetables are there which are, if you eat it raw, it will cause digestion gas problem. So cook it and then eat it. Instead of raw cabbage, saute the cabbage, so it's more digestible. So you can eat it better, you can digest it better. And also fiber also slowly increase it. And I myself made this mistake. I thought oh my god, I eat less fiber, I should eat lot of seeds and all. and I got digestion problem. So if your body is less, you eat less fiber slowly increase the fiber. If you automatically start 0 to 25, you will sit in toilet for a very long time. So be careful, but fiber is good. Just right amount of fiber. Then last but not least, the dyes and food colors. So there are like lots of food items which contains food colors. Even though the food doesn't need food color, but still they will add it. They don't like dull colors, they want everything to be vibrant. There are like various food colors in it. But the most common which I found which are dangerous is green 1, red 1, red 3, which are like carcinogenic. These are generally cancer causing. Then there is Sudan 1, which is very toxic. Then also there is red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, brilliant blue. These dyes oftentimes causes hyperactivity, attention issues and behavioral issues, along with the cancer part. So lot of these chemicals causes cancer. They disrupt our body in a way that our body starts producing this cancer cell. But along with that it can also cause hyperactivity, attention and behavior issues. And like this especially happens in kids. So you must notice that most of the kids food items are very vibrant, colorful, beautiful, because kids like this. They see like vibrant colors, they like, oh my god, this is tasty. They will see something dull brown, dull and pale white, they will be like, oh my god, this is not good. But when they see like colorful red, green, blue, rainbow colors, they'll be like, oh my god, I want to try this. And the factory people know that how to attract the kids. They will the package will be very shiny, it will contain the cover of their favorite cartoon character, anime character or any kind of movie. They'll put it on the cover, so kids be like, oh my god, this is my favorite cartoon, and they'll buy it. So these chemicals causes hyperactivity and attention behavior issues. So nowadays you must have seen then kids are a lot more like hyper, and they like are not focused that much, and they are like misbehaving a lot more. So sometimes it is because the parenting is a lot more soft, but also because these food items affect our mind greatly. These colorful food items not only makes the food look nice, but it makes us also very vibrant and very active, very hyperactive. The kids are a lot more like yeah, and they will not listen to you. They will have attention issues. They like within 6 seconds they are bored. They don't have much patience there. So if you are kids are having attention issues, they are like very hyper, they get angry, frustrated quickly, they don't listen that much and they eat this kind of junk food then slowly reduce this junk food and find some healthy replacement. and it will be difficult to like take the potato chips and give them an sweet potato to eat. They will not eat the sweet potato. Some of them can, but mostly kids will prefer the chips. So you can make some chips at home. Buy an air fryer so you can make chips at low oil. Or if you don't want, you are okay with deep fried, you can deep fry it, and put salt and whatever spices you want. So at least it will be still healthier than the outside food. You can make it, let it cool, and then store it in the box, so you can eat little by little. Your kid can eat little by little. So if you bring the store chips, they'll eat the store chips. But if you don't bring it and make some nice tasty homemade chips, your kid will eat the nice tasty homemade chips. And I like nowadays see on YouTube there are lots of creative ways making healthy foods. Beetroot chips. That then there is like lettuce chips, and various chips are there. And I like tried one. I don't remember the name of that green leaf vegetable, but there are like kale chips. Kale chips. So you can use the kale leaves, dry it in the microwave or in an air fryer, or you can like deep fry it also. And then put some salt and pepper. It will become nice and crunchy. So that is still healthy than outside food. So your kids, when they get used to it slowly by slowly, they'll choose the homemade food. Instead of just directly stopping, slowly replacing it. Give them your homemade stuff. Try this is good. Try to make simple recipes. So if it's not too complicated, then you will not get tired. So if a recipe requires too much work, you will be like, let it be. After 2 times you will get bored. But if the recipe is simple, then you can easily make it. This popcorn is very easy to make. Just buy corn, dried corn, heat it with some oil, and then sprinkle some salt and chili pepper. Done. And I can store it and use it for few days. Same way you can make some chips, or if you eat non-veg, you can make some non-vegetarian snacks also. There are like various recipes there. There are chickpea also. So you can like use canned chickpea, dry it out, and then sprinkle some salt and other spices in it, and eat it as a snack. That also is very tasty and healthy. You know what ingredients are there. It doesn't contain these harmful chemicals. It's healthy, cheap, and you know what is in it. So you feel safe. Yeah. And occasionally if you eat, fine, but eat homemade food, you will feel more energized and happy. And if your kid is like having behavior issues or health issues, it will be like, it will mellow them down, and they will have a habit of eating homemade food instead of outside food. So if they are used to eating homemade food, when they grow up, they will prefer a homemade food over outside food. The kids which are used to eating outside food, fast food, they generally go for fast food when they're grown up. But kids which are prefer homemade food, they love homemade food. Even when they grow up, they find ways to either cook themselves or find places where they can eat homemade food. So, yeah. This is a very long video. I knew this is going to be long, but it's much longer than expected. So, I hope you found this video useful. And if you have any other like feedback or any other like things you want to share and advices or anything which we should be careful of, please let me know. And let me know your views on zero sugar and all these things which I have said. Whether you agree, disagree, anything. And also please check out my merch. And I've like worked hard to make those designs. I hope you all like it. And thank you so much. From now I'm going to be regular. Hope and pray. Take care. Bye bye.